New weight loss drug approved by the FDA, Zepbound. What is the cost? What is Zepbound's availability? What does this mean for the cost for Wegovy's cost, Ozempic's cost, and all the other GLP-1 medications? Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've got my co-host, Mr. Freddie. We're doing bathrobe news today because there's so much breaking news going on with our GLP-1 receptor antagonist that I want to dive into it. So let's go into it. I do have our Zepbound article linked down in the description link below. You can always go to countessofshopping.com/Zepbound, Zepbound, on my website and support the Countess of Shopping, official GLP-1 news organization. Okay, let's go through and we're going to talk all about the cost. This has been, after my part one, if you haven't seen that, it's in the playlist down below. Part one is the cost of Zepbound for 1 month. If you were to pay out of pocket, is $1,059.87. That is for 4 of the Zepbound pens. This is just like Mounjaro's cost with the 4 pens. It's in that ballpark range. Because it's Mounjaro, which is for FDA approval for type 2 diabetics. Zepbound now has, as of earlier this week, FDA approval for chronic obesity management. In conjunction, you can get prescribed with it of making behavioral modifications with your diet and with exercise. So the cost of that, the $1,059, so approximately $1,060, $1,060 for Wegovy. Almost $300 more, just shy of that. Wegovy per month is $1,394. Now, many of you are having your insurance company pay for that, so they're picking up that extra slack. But if you compare apples to apples on there, 1 month versus 1 month, Wegovy is it's like $289 and some change. So we're just going to call it a flat, even $300. In terms of the Zepbound cost for weight loss medication, for a GLP-1 weight loss medication versus Wegovy weight loss medication, and that is that $300 cost. Now, the Zepbound medication is from the manufacturer, as is Mounjaro, from Eli Lilly. Ozempic and Wegovy are from Novo Nordisk as their manufacturer. So we now have a competing marketplace, my friends. I went to business school, and so I love healthy competition in the marketplace because you know why? That is going to help our cost. I've gotten hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, a lot about cost of Zepbound costs, but also the cost of what is it? Bye, Mr. Freddie. He'll be back later. What does this mean for the cost of Ozempic, the cost of Wegovy, the cost? It means I need to go pick up my son. We're in bathrobe news and I need to go get my son. Taking a little break before I put my mom hat on and wanted to chat to my fellow counts and countesses here. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button down below, make sure you do and join our free Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, semaglutide weight loss encouragement group, linked down in the description. So that cost standpoint, because now it's not a monopoly anymore. It's now a duopoly. I am an economist daughter, so there's a duopoly going on with these weight loss medications. There's 2. There's actually more than that, but for GLP-1 receptor antagonists, of what's happening right now with the medication changes, this is a very exciting time. It's the best time to be alive for many reasons, but with that, we have coming down the pipeline, and that's the count also. You can tell it's bumping here at Countess of Shopping. In 2024 and in 2025, we have many GLP-1 medications coming down the pipeline. We still haven't even seen, I'm going to mispronounce it, but retatrutide is still in for FDA approval. Like, we've got a lot of things. And I mentioned in the previous video, it was 2 or 3 videos ago, it was on part 2 of the dark side of Mounjaro, talking about the solutions of what's coming down the pipeline for potential FDA approval. So we've got a lot more coming, but I love that now we have a duopoly going on with these weight loss medications with Wegovy and Zepbound. When is the availability? And we're going to come back to that cost standpoint, but the availability, because this is the important piece. From what my sources are saying, in pharmacies will be available mid-December to the beginning of the new year, into January. So depending on where you live, mid-December to beginning of January 2024, which is very exciting. So we had one of our amazing countesses, and thank you by the way, I'm forgetting who it was specifically, but thank you, who called after my last video on Zepbound, called their insurance company and says, hey, we don't even have the list. So I would wait till we get it in the pharmacies. I believe for my health insurance, it did not get Mounjaro, like it didn't get approved under my insurance coverage until January of this 2023. So I don't think I'm going to see Zepbound on approval for my particular insurance company until 2024. And for yours, this is all very much nuanced for everyone, is just because one faction of an insurance company does one thing, your company, part of that health insurance company, may be doing something different. Your company very well may not be covering these at all. But I do think collectively, long term, in terms of the cost, having more competition and more choices in the marketplace, gosh, I love living in America, of having choices in the marketplace, it does provide that cost I believe is going to go down. That $1,059, $1,060. Now, if you have insurance kicking in, you're not seeing that. The insurance company is negotiating those rates, of course, for it. We've had people who pay out of pocket for Mounjaro $500 a month, $25. It's free. So we've seen the gamut anywhere from that all the way up to that $1,000 plus per month price tag. So to be determined. And the different nuances of it are to be determined with there too. Now, the doses, many of you asked about doses. It's the same as Mounjaro. 2.5 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 7.5 milligrams, 10 milligrams, 12.5 milligrams, 15 milligrams for Zepbound, just the same as Mounjaro, the same 4 pens in there. They actually even look the same, just different packaging label on there. It's the same. It's like Ozempic and Wegovy. Ozempic was for type 2 diabetics. Mounjaro is for type 2 diabetics, FDA approval. Wegovy is FDA approval for obesity, chronic obesity management, and Zepbound is now for chronic obesity management too. So this is very exciting in terms of the price points of those. That is what you can expect with it. There is a coupon. Many of you were asking me about the coupon, the savings card, the Zepbound savings card. What's going to happen with that? I think that, in my humble opinion, and again, I am not a medical doctor, nor do I pretend to play one on the internet. I'm not an insurance specialist, nor do I pretend to play one on the internet. I'm simply someone who has lost 68 pounds through Mounjaro and loves talking about GLP-1s and our Countess of Shopping community of thousands and thousands and thousands of people having great success on weight loss medications and encouraging each other, and built a really strong community around encouragement within a safe, positive space to have these conversations. So I do think that the costs are going to continue to go down with these, but I predict we won't see that until the third quarter of next year, July, like June, July, August, is when I think that the costs are going to not be as astronomical. That savings card will not be what Mounjaro was this past like February and March, where we saw it was like $25. They did have on there where it was $25, but the amount of people are going to be able to qualify for that, in my humble prediction, no, like I think it's going to be, if you you have to have the qualifications for that savings card too, by the way, are linked down in my Countess of Shopping article. So you can see what those metrics are if you would be applicable for those to pay out of pocket to get the savings card if your insurance company does not cover it. So I think you're looking around which most people probably do. Like if you're obese, if you have a certain BMI, you've got to change diet, and you've got to exercise with it too. Those are the other components of the FDA approval with it. I'm saying you've got to, like, is the FDA going to come watch you work out? No, but I'm just teasing. But those are the qualifications with it. So let's go over and talk about insurance coverage. This is going to be interesting because the more that these GLP-1 receptor antagonists get released, these GLP-1 medications get released, weight loss medications, the more insurance companies are going to feel pressure to have coverage for it, and companies covering it too. So I will be very curious to see what happens. I don't think you're going to see that change in quarter one of 2024. So January, February, March 2024, in my humble opinion, I don't think you're going to see it. I don't think you're going to see, like, depending on who you're, if you have good health insurance or not, right? Like, for my health insurance, I know where it falls on the spectrum, and I'm like, it's gonna get it's gonna get covered. I do think it's gonna, but we'll see. I could be wrong too. Like I very well could be wrong, because the good health insurance companies, is it the long risks of the obesity problems that it causes to mitigate those? Isn't that worth the cost? Like that's where it just gets so interesting to me about the dollars and cents of it. I'm like, well, long term, it's actually gonna save them money if you don't have all these obese people. So I do feel somewhat of a, what's the right word? and this is real talk. This is Countess of Shopping real talk. If you're an OG counter Countess, you know what I'm going to probably say. But I do feel some sort of vindication for all of those nasty people who came in and were talking about Mounjaro, for people using it for weight loss. For me, like, it's not my business what people, like, that's not my business. Over 30% of medications are prescribed off label. What people choose to do with their doctor is not my business. It's fascinating to me that people come on the internet and like give people flack about taking Mounjaro for weight loss and things like that, because it's not people's business. But I do think even with the shortage, they felt like that they were taking it from them. But I think that this is somewhat vindicating for the Mounjaro for weight loss community, because it's showing like the medication, it proved all along that it was helping obese people. And now certainly there is the other conversation of people who are taking GLP-1s that are not obese, or not for obesity, long-term obesity management, or chronic obesity management, or weight management, weight loss management. But that's also not my business either. Like, my business is to make an encouraging space here, and it's not my, like, who am I to say? Like, I love watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Half those women are on Ozempic or Wegovy or semaglutide or tirzepatide or a GLP-1. It's not like, anyways. My business is, I do think, where are you going to be able to get this? At your pharmacy. You can get it mailed. My favorite telehealth company is linked in the description link below. They are going to be shipping it, as is, they do have insurance concierge services included. Their price of their compounds, if you don't want to play for a name brand, they do both name brand and compounds, which is unheard of in the telehealth community space. They are a startup. I'm obsessed with them. I love the founders of the company. Getting those compounds at the price point is, and knowing that it's a reputable compound pharmacies, the way in which they do third-party independent testing is super important, and they do that with the compound pharmacies they work with. So if you're not able to get the name brand medications, you do want to go the compound route with a semaglutide, which is like Ozempic, Wegovy, or tirzepatide, which is Zepbound and Mounjaro. You can work through this telehealth company. I do have a discount code linked in that article as well, but in the article I'll explain more about it. So Mortar is going to continue. Let me know your questions down below. These were the main questions in the last video, talking about the release date, the availability, Zepbound release date, Zepbound availability date. When can you get this prescription? Mid-December, beginning of January. And realistically, more like January. We've seen shortages. So just give it some time, give it some grace, and see. I am very curious. I'm going to start poking around to see when. I live in rural Virginia, and when in rural Virginia we're going to be getting it, because I do always think that that's like the benchmark of when are you going to get it. Many of you guys have asked about my 27 Amazon must-haves and like shopping list and things like that. So I've got that link down in the description link below, as is what happens if you're not losing weight on Mounjaro. I've got an article on that. If you're just starting Mounjaro 2.5 milligrams, I've got an article, tons of articles for you guys linked down below. And my handy dandy, got my Christmas duvet on, if you want my Christmas duvet. Do you like my robe? Is this not so sweet? This was from the Amazon live team last year. I don't think they're sending me a Christmas gift. Amazon corporate, I don't think they're sending me, unless Amazon corporate's watching right now, I don't think I'm getting a Christmas gift from them this year. But look how big it was from last year to this year. I'm like so excited. I'm really excited. So anyways, I'm going to go pick up my son. But I did want to do a quick update on that, of what I know so far. The other article talks to, side effects, was the Zepbound side effects, same as Mounjaro. We do have that thyroid black box warning. If, again, I'm not a medical professional, and correct me, medical professionals, if I'm wrong, but that is the hereditary thyroid cancer, of having a family history of that thyroid cancer. It's very, very rare, and it is a hereditary one. So something to keep in mind with that when you see those thyroid cancer things. And in fact, there was a study that came out about how it's really helping with cancer, right? Eating a lot less sugar, a lot less processed foods, that is helping. Seeing results with heart issues lowering. I mean, it all makes sense, right? As the healthier you get, less heart issues, less cancer, things like that. It's helping the overall health and wellness. So that 130-pound dog that we have been fostering, and I've been taking care of her over at the animal shelter, because Mr. Freddy doesn't, he's not wanting guests right now. She's still available for adoption here in rural Virginia too. So we love her. So I hope she gets a new home as well. So Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. And don't forget to click that subscribe button and get my Mounjaro weight loss and success checklist down in the description link below. I'll see you next time, friends. Bye, guys.